Tonight, Ghana intensifies diplomatic engagement with South Africa after deadly attacks targeting African migrants.
Also this evening, Obuasi airstrip under threat again as illegal miners resume operations after security team eviction.
Later in business news, KPMG says IMF policy coordination instrument is a critical step in shaping the next phase of Ghana's economy.
In international news tonight, Nigerian soldier arrested over allegations he supplied military uniforms to terrorists and criminal groups.
We have details of all these stories and many more coming up in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us.
Let's start the bulletin on the labor front, shall we? And the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, has called on President Mahama to suspend the proposed sale of the Volta Aluminium Company, Valco, warning that the move could lead to significant job losses and worsening unemployment in the country. Now, the appeal follows a demonstration by some Valco workers in Tema who marched to register the opposition to the move.
The protest by some workers of the Volta Aluminium Company, Valco, comes weeks after another group of employees urged President Mahama to appoint a strategic investor to revive the struggling aluminium smelter. The workers argued that Valco requires substantial financial investment to restore operations and secure its future. Subsequently, reports emerged that Cabinet had approved an investor for the company. However, the decision has sparked divisions among the workforce, with a section of employees expressing fears that the arrangement could lead to job losses. The aggrieved workers, led by the General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union ICU, Morgan Ayawini, to the Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive Ebi Bright, calling for the immediate suspension of the sale process.
The transfer of Valco to a private investor poses significant risk, including potential job losses, diminished workers' welfare, and adverse financial consequences for both the workforce and the state.
He maintained that instead of selling the company, the government should inject capital into Valco to revitalize its operations, protect existing jobs, and safeguard the livelihoods of workers.
I want to inform the whole country, all of us, leaders, stakeholders, that we are poised as a union that believes in protecting the national asset.
The Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive Ebi Bright assured the workers that the government would engage all stakeholders to address their concerns and work towards an amicable resolution.
In good faith, we will send this message across, and I want to reassure you that this is a listening government and that no matter what, you must keep faith in the good intentions and the resolve to reset, not only reset the nation, but to ensure jobs, prosperity, and economic viability for all Ghanaians.
The leadership of the ICU has warned that it will embark on a series of industrial actions if government fails to suspend the proposed sale agreement within 1 week.
Well, this is generating some conversation, particularly on the labor front. Let's speak with Horace Ni Ayi Ankra. He is the chairman of the Valco board. Horace, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening to you. Let's start with this. Tell us the state of Valco as we speak.
Yeah, well, good evening, and thank you for having me. The state of Valco as we speak is that Valco currently has actually moved from where it used to stand still to making progress gradually under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama and his industrialization policy. We adhering to certain aspects of the policy has have actually moved Valco from where it used to be standing still to making profit.
So if that is where the company is at the moment, there are concerns by the ICU and some workers over what they say are proposals to sell a significant portion, 70% or more. How do you respond to this?
Well, that is yet to be actually relayed to the board. As we speak, I know that the board and management and everybody else, we're looking for an investor. When we say an investor, well, some say strategic investor. I prefer to say an investor because strategic investor will be talking about shares, will be talking about dividends, and they'll be talking about power. But when you talk about investor, you know that's simply an investor who would want to just make his or her profit and then leave. So there's a dichotomy to this, and then the misinformation, disinformation, and all that, and the inability to get all stakeholders. And I like what Ebi Bright said. This is a listening government. This is a government that's going forward. I strongly believe that all stakeholders will be brought to the table, and then clarifications will be laid bare for everybody to be assured.
So right now, Valco is not pursuing an outright sale. Is that what you're telling us?
Valco is not for sale, and Valco, we have not had any offer whatsoever from any individual. I hear people say that it's being sold to Ibrahim Mahama. I can state categorically that no, he's not made any offer to Valco, and Valco is not looking forward to receiving any offer from any individual.
Okay, how about a partial privatization through the sale of an equity to a private strategic investor, like you mentioned earlier? Is that also on the books of Valco?
That is what I'm saying. That's I would prefer an investor to a strategic investor because of the reasons that I gave.
If the investor comes into play, the concerns of the workers there that there'll be job losses, is that a viable concern for them to have?
Oh, yes. I mean, if the investor is a strategic investor who would then have power, what would then happen is that obviously that strategic investor would have the right to dictate certain things, and certain jobs will go.
Okay.
I know for certain that there's nowhere in the world that you've had privatization or a strategic investor where there'll be no job losses.
Right.
But don't forget that this government is a government that has always said that we're looking forward to making sure that with the 24-hour economy,
right,
most people are employed.
Okay.
And that is where Valco is actually going to.
Right.
What we are planning to do now at Valco is to making sure that very soon, and very, very, very soon, we'll be seeing Valco operating the 24-hour economy kind of policy.
Horace, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll have to talk more. Horace Ni Ayukwankra is the chairman of the Valco board, speaking with us there. Let's do some other stories.
My pleasure.
In more news tonight, the Malam interchange is one of Accra's busiest transport corridors, carrying thousands of commuters and heavy-duty vehicles every day. But beneath the constant flow of traffic, signs of deterioration on sections of the interchange are raising concerns about public safety. Samuel Yeboah Adams was there and reports.
From a distance, the Malam interchange appears to be serving its purpose, keeping traffic moving through one of Accra's busiest intersections. But a closer look tells a different story. At the edge of the flyover, sections of the concrete parapet have broken away, leaving reinforcing steel exposed to the element. Cracks are visible in part of the structure, while loose concrete hangs above the road. Residents and regular users say these defects have existed for some time, yet little appears to have changed.
Last October, accident.
We sell building materials here, and around October last year, a vehicle had an accident crashing into a section of the flyover. If that loose concrete falls on someone, it could cause a serious accident.
So they have been going on, but no repairs. Anytime there is an accident, they will just come and take the car, the truck away. But regarding to reconstruct the place. No. I would like to inform the authority that no, there's a whole lot of work.
It's very dangerous if a vehicle accidentally drives into that section. The consequences could be fatal, and we are appealing to the authorities to come and fix it. Just beneath the interchange lies another problem. The drainage channel intended to carry excess water away when it rains is silted and clogged with refuse. According to residents, the blocked drain contributes to flooding in the area, disrupting movement and affecting nearby homes and businesses. All the drains are choked. Whenever it rains, the whole area gets flooded, but no one has come to address the problem. Back on the road, traders and commuters face yet another daily reality. As vehicles pass through the corridor, clouds of dust rise into the air, adding on to the challenges. The dust is seriously affecting us. The contractor started work on the road, but after that, it was left untarred. Since then, we've been living with dust every day. We are suffering because of the dust. We want the authorities to come and assess the situation and do something about it. Attempt to get the Ghana Highway Authority to react to the issue proved unsuccessful. For many who live and work around the interchange, addressing the visible crack should be the priority, but maintaining the entire environment around the interchange is essential to ensuring safety, mobility and healthier living conditions for everyone who depend on it. Samuel Yaboa Adams, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's move away from the capital to the Ashanti region, particularly to Obuasi, where the Obuasi airstrip is now surrounded by deep pits and polluted water bodies as illegal miners continue to expand their illicit operations beyond boundaries. A week after the regional security team drove them out to pave way for reclamation, they are back in their numbers. William Evanzinkum has filed this report.
To the Obuasi airstrip, illegal miners control large tracts of arable land. Sometime last week, the regional security team flashed them out with about 9 excavators seized and demobilized. But that did not deter them. They are back.
So we have been here for a couple of minutes, and you could see from the drone shot vast arable land degraded, several water bodies polluted. And watching from the pictures that the drone is providing us from the skies, it looks very horrible, a situation as we speak now. And we're still flying. As we fly, every scene we gather from the ground is a total disaster. It's a total mess. It's a horror of an environment.
A guy from Anyuam Kwanta is coming with his tools. We are going to take other important parts, so and if possible, he can even track it.
Last week, National Security and NIMOS came to do an operation here, where we picked about 9 excavators and took parts of about 3 of them, which were here. So as you can see, on our way here, we saw 3 of the machines still working. So we later realized that they are part of those that were in a way demobilized.
3 excavators for the second time seized. The fight against illegal mining seems far from over.
You go and sack them today, tomorrow they will go back. If you are appealing to the Minister for Natural Resources, because of the problem that we are facing in Obuasi, if they can use, because the land is very big, being even using some for the military base.
The regional security says they remain resolute despite the apparent challenges.
And away from the Ashanti region, Ghanaian officials say they will continue diplomatic talks with South Africa to remedy the ongoing violent anti-migrant protests which have killed 2 Ghanaians. The country has started another batch of evacuations targeting to fly about 1,000 Ghanaians home, with nearly 200 already arriving as of Monday. Foreign Affairs Minister Okudzeto Ablakwa has promised sustained reintegration, job offers and relief packages for returnees.
For months, anti-migrant demonstrations have rocked South Africa, forcing foreign nationals to flee the country for safety. Both legal residents and undocumented migrants have been targeted. More than 160,000 nationals from Ghana, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Nigeria and other African countries have left the country in recent months, with deaths also recorded. Ghana earlier evacuated more than 900 citizens and has now begun a new phase to bring home about 1,000 more. A third flight arrived Monday afternoon after the first 2 groups landed on Sunday evening and at dawn on Monday, bringing the total number of returnees so far to about 150 out of the expected 1,000.
As we did for your compatriots who came earlier in the first round of evacuations, we are going to do the same. We are going to hand over to you travel allowances. We will also hand over to you reintegration allowances to everybody. We are not amending, we are not changing, we are not reducing. It is the same package because you are all valuable Ghanaians who we cherish and we adore very much.
While ensuring the complete reintegration of the returnees, the government is also working to secure properties some left behind, as well as seeking compensation for their losses.
Before you were allowed to board, the South African authorities carried out screening because they have a database of wanted criminals. Not a single Ghanaian is on their wanted list. Not a single Ghanaian is a criminal who the South African authorities are looking for. We will continue to hold talks with the South African authorities to ease tensions. We hope that they would also do better. This whole xenophobic attacks casts a very bad image of our continent.
I engaged some of the evacuees on how important returning home is to them.
But life
in South Africa was okay until the locals started attacking us. We lost our jobs. We are all happy to be back. We hope the government will support us.
As hostilities escalate in what appears to be a loss of control by the South African authorities, Ghana expects the African Union to make the xenophobic attacks a top agenda item. Christian Yali, TV3 News, Accra International Airport.
Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister has debunked public assertions that the visa waiver agreement between Ghana and South Africa has been abrogated due to the xenophobic attacks.
As the South African authorities have themselves indicated, no such decision has been taken on this matter, which is governed by an agreement applicable on a reciprocal basis. And I must place on record that in these matters, if Ghana is taken out of the free visa arrangement, Ghana will also have no option but to immediately reciprocate.
Meanwhile, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa says the detained member of parliament for the Asante-Achim North constituency in the Netherlands has been provided with the necessary consular services ahead of his extradition to the United States. Updating journalists on other happening regarding the ministry, Samuel Okudzeto indicated that a number of developments have taken place since the arrest of the MP and assured that his rights have been respected despite the detention.
Following his detention, our mission in The Hague has taken up the matter and is offering consular assistance to the Honourable Member of Parliament. I can confirm that on the 24th of May 2026, I personally paid the Honourable MP a consular visit in The Hague. I also note that he was doing quite well when I engaged him during a courtesy call on me by the Dutch Minister for Justice and Security, assured that the Dutch government commits to due process and will ensure that the rights of the Honourable Member of Parliament are protected.
Still on diplomatic engagement, the minister said Gabonese President Brice Nguema will pay an official visit to Ghana from the 28th to the 30th. President John Mahama is also expected to embark on a state visit to Jamaica from the 2nd to the 5th of August.
The visit will mark an important milestone in Ghana-Gabon relations and provide the opportunity to reaffirm the commitment of both countries to political dialogue and deepen cooperation in trade, investment, agriculture, fisheries, energy, tourism, education, and maritime security. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama will be undertaking a state visit to Jamaica. The visit will provide an opportunity to strengthen the long-standing friendship and shared heritage between Ghana and Jamaica through high.
In other news, the cost of locally produced fruit juices are expected to reduce by November following the 20% tax reduction announced by the Finance Minister for indigenous companies into fruit juice production. But the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, says other elements will complement a seamless implementation.
The announcement by the Finance Minister forms part of broader reforms under the excise duty bill aimed at improving efficiency in the tax system, plugging revenue leakages and supporting local industries. According to the Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, the decision was long overdue. He revealed that FABAG had consistently opposed the levy since it was introduced.
We have been talking about it through the corporate reliefs. They saw it was to bring it to the fruit juices, which is also another area that we are looking at. The 20% is not a blanket bill. If you are doing the local production, the reason is that you use local materials in doing your production. So the foods and everything that you need to do that production.
The association is confident the move will translate into lower costs for consumers.
Though it has been announced by the Ministry of Finance, GRA will pick it up and then they will meet with the stakeholders and then see what goes into what the 20% really costs for. So that one will be discussed. And once the letter comes out, approved by Parliament, then the implementation will start. So possibly before November, we should see a lot of reduction in this area.
While the association has welcomed the relief, it is calling for a more conducive business environment to promote growth.
That is where the problem is. Even with the 20%, if we don't get any increment from utility service, that's a PRC, obviously we're going to see a stable pricing. But if they come up with any increments, that will erode that 20% that government has given. And people will ask, but when they reduced it, we didn't get the benefit of it.
Moving on, President of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Ludwig Annan-Hesse, has challenged assertions by the Minister of Finance, Dr. Tufo, saying that work is progressing on ongoing road projects. According to him, many of these projects have stalled due to a lack of additional funding since 2024.
In the wake of Thursday's media budget presentation, the Ghana Institution of Engineering is raising serious concerns over the government's approach to major road infrastructure projects. President of the institution, Engineer Ludwig Annan-Hesse, is questioning government's commitment to environmental impact assessment, alleging that feasibility studies, detailed designs and construction works are proceeding simultaneously even before assessment processes are fully completed.
On what feasibility was the right-of-way cleared? On what compensation assessment and payment which has been done before the right-of-way is being cleared. So you see, sometimes it appears that we are putting the cart before the horse in some of these communications. Again, if you have not completed feasibility, how are you doing detailed design? But all these things are being done in parallel from the report. And they are being done, they are not completed, yet we've put effort on the road that we are clearing.
Despite assurances from Finance Minister Dr. Kaisel Atto-Forson that work is progressing on ongoing projects, Engineer Hesse maintains that many projects remain stalled.
No additional funding has been put into the project since 2024. Yet the government in the statement said that those projects were ongoing. They are all at a standstill because if you have not paid outstanding bills for the contractors, they demobilize, and they have demobilized, though they have not been terminated. So saying that they are ongoing when actually no work has been done in the last 2 years is not probably right.
He also criticized procurement practices and what he describes as inadequate road rehabilitation efforts.
We are not giving enough time for detailed designs to be completed before projects are started. In terms of procurement, we are also not following due process. We are using a lot of single source and selective tendering processes to select contractors for, especially in the big push area.
The finance minister had earmarked $1.7 billion for the proposed Accra-Kumasi Expressway. However, Engineer Lodwick Annan Hesse says the funds could have delivered more immediate benefits if invested in ongoing road dualization projects.
The government has put aside 1.7 billion cedis for the expressway. If half of this would have been put into the existing road, probably by this time we'll have a dual carriageway.
Let's now go to the courts where private legal practitioner Samuel Atachia has taken over as lead counsel for NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Intribu-Isiako, also known as Chairman Wontumi, in the 30 million cedi Exim Bank loan fraud case. Chairman Wontumi is facing multiple charges, including defrauding by false pretenses, forgery and money laundering to the tune of 30 million cedis. Lord Idoasari reports.
In court on Monday, July 27, Samuel Atachia notified the court that Andy Apiakubi, who was previously representing Chairman Wontumi as lead counsel, had withdrawn his services as legal representative. He therefore prayed the court for leave to assume responsibility for both Wontumi and Wontumi Farms Company, the two accused in the case. Atachia also urged the court for an adjournment to allow the defense to resume the plea bargain negotiations with the Attorney General. Responding to his request, Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Remsai affirmed the assertion by Samuel Atachia and disclosed that the parties could not finalize the plea negotiation due to the conviction and sentencing of Chairman Wontumi in the Summer Boy case. The NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman was given a 20-year jail term after the court convicted him of some illegal mining-related offences. The Deputy Attorney General further noted that although the law permits plea bargaining to continue alongside trial proceedings, the prosecution was prepared to waive its rights because the plea negotiations were at an advanced stage. He, however, urged the court to grant a 30-day leave instead of the 90 days being sought by the defense counsel. After listening to both counsel, the presiding judge adjourned the case to August 27 for further directions. Samuel Atachia spoke after proceedings.
The judge agreed, and Honorable Deputy Attorney General Service House agreed that you attempt a plea bargain and then come back to the court and announce it. So we'll take up that initiative and see whether we can broker a deal, and that matter will come to an end. All the cases associated with Wontumi have taken over, and then we'll see how we prosecute them.
Lord Idoasari, TV3 News, Accra.
You're watching News 360 live on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Let's now take a look at how the weather will be for the next 12 to 24 hours.
Weather News segment is brought to you by Syntex Tank.
economy has entered a stronger phase of recovery, with first quarter GDP growth reaching 6.4%, inflation at 5.3% in June, and lending rates falling significantly over the past year. Partner and head of markets Kwame Sarpong-Barnier also welcomed government's improved fiscal performance and the completion of the IMF program, describing the proposed Policy Coordination Instrument (PCI) as a framework to sustain policy credibility rather than another bailout.
Final executive board considerations, however, pending. The proposed reform agenda refocuses on fiscal governance, debt sustainability, monetary and exchange rate framework, financial sector stability, SOE governance, and inclusive growth. This continuity matters because Ghana's next phase will be judged less by stabilization but more by institutional execution and resilience. People must feel what we're doing.
On taxation, tax partner at KPMG, Justina Amate-Ekwe, says government's digital VAT compliance measures, customs reforms and tighter free zones regulations have the potential to curb leakages and improve revenue mobilization.
The key design issues that need to be addressed is the fact that there has to be clarity in defining what manufacturing is and clarity in the kind of raw materials that will qualify for these exemptions that are being earmarked, and also ensuring that there is clear alignment with any future special economic zone framework going forward.
KPMG says while the country's macroeconomic recovery is gathering pace, the real test of government's reforms will be whether businesses can successfully adapt to the new regulatory environment and whether the benefits of the recovery are ultimately felt across the wider economy.
Meanwhile, financial economist at the University of Professional Studies Accra, UPSA, Dr. Eric Boakye-Adom, says the fact that investors are lending to government at rates as low as around 5% instead of the private sector shows strong confidence in the state's credit worthiness. Speaking on the 2026 mid-year budget review, he noted that lenders currently prefer short-term, low-return government paper over long-term investment in businesses, a trend that reflects both risk perception and market liquidity preferences.
Dr. Boakye-Adom commended government's plan for the domestic debt exchange program settlement through the sinking fund, which has accrued 15 billion cedis.
The government has a plan in terms of paying of the DDEP, especially for the sinking fund setup that currently sits around about 15 billion Ghana cedis. And it's expected that this sinking fund will build up to around 30 billion early next year to pay the first tranche of it.
However, Dr. Boakye-Adom raised concerns about government's heavy participation in the short-term market. While the government says the strategy will save about 4 billion cedis, the policy analysts warned its risk crowding out the private sector, which typically pays higher rates to access credit for expansion.
The government active participation in the short-term market. Yes, government has indicated by participating in it, there are some savings in the region of about 4 billion. But what is happening is that now banks are choosing to play in the lower tier of the yield by lending to government around 5.7%, when they could have lended to businesses in the region of around 15%, given the fact that policy rate and the Ghana reference rate sit within above the 10% threshold.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
entertaining Group B clash in Yamoussoukro, Cote d'Ivoire. Nigeria struck early, but Ghana responded through Mohamed Zaidan after a brilliant assist from captain Kelvin Nkrumah. The Flying Eagles regained control with 2 goals before halftime, including a penalty. Nkrumah then also converted from the spot after the break to reduce the deficit, but Nigeria added another penalty to seal victory. Maxwell Konedu's side will aim to bounce back against Burkina Faso on Thursday as they continue their push for knockout qualification. To some more where Hearts of Oak have ushered in a new era ahead of the 2026-2027 Ghana Premier League season with key changes to their technical team. From a new head coach to the return of Ghana goalkeeping legend Richard Kingston, expectations are growing among the Phobian faithful. 3 Sports gives more insights into what these appointments could mean for the club's title ambitions this season.
The 2026-27 Ghana Premier League season is expected to be a big one for Hearts of Oak. And here is why. The past 2 seasons, Accra Hearts of Oak have finished 3rd in the Ghana Premier League under coach Ouattara 2 seasons ago and last season under Didi Dramani. Now, right after the season, Hearts of Oak announced that they've parted ways with Didi Dramani. It came as a shocker to many, but it wasn't just a Didi Dramani. Their goalkeepers trainer, Najawi Issa, also left the club, together with the assistant coach, Abdul Ghazeli. Now, Hearts of Oak fans were asking questions, which men would come and take charge of the team? That question has now been answered. 4 new faces have been introduced, and they will be steering the affairs of Hearts of Oak going into the new season. Neboja Kapo, the Bosnian tactician who was formerly the head coach of Tema Youth and Mediema, is back to the Ghana Premier League and he will be taking charge of Hearts of Oak, signing a 2-year deal. Not just him, there's also Sule Ademu, formerly of Heart of Lions and Great Olympics. He will be assisting him together with Chris Opoku. But the biggest surprise in here is former Black Stars goalkeeper. 2006, he was our #1 goalkeeper at the World Cup in Germany. Then in 2010 in South Africa, he was our #1 goalkeeper as well. He retired from the national team, became the goalkeepers trainer of the national team for some time, and now he's back to the Ghana Premier League. He made a name for himself when he was playing for Great Olympics. Richard Olele Kingston is back home, but this time he's not back with Great Olympics. He has joined Hearts of Oak as their new goalkeepers trainer, and it's a big one for them. With Benjamin Asari and Solomon Agbasi, the 2 main goalkeepers for Hearts, Richard Kingston has a tough job to ensure that they keep the standard that they set last season. Hearts of Oak becoming one of the teams to concede the least goals in the division. It's a big one. Richard Kingston knows the job at hand, and Hearts of Oak fans are very eager to see what he produces. But as you know, the 2026-27 season will kick off on September 4th, and Hearts of Oak will be raring to go. This time, the aim and the target for them would be to go on and win the Ghana Premier League, because the last time they did, it was the 2020-2021 season where the likes of Bandier were very, very much in there. It's a big one. Hearts of Oak fans are looking forward to what Neboja Kapo and Richard Olele Kingston will bring to the club.
Now, before we go, Ghanaian forward Aziz Issa has completed a permanent move to FC Barcelona after the Spanish giant reached an agreement with Dreams FC for his transfer. The 20-year-old has signed a 2-year contract with the Catalan club that will keep him at the club until June 30, 2028. The deal also includes an extension to add an additional year to the current contract. Issa previously spent the last 2 seasons with Barcelona's reserve team, that's the Barca Athletic, on loan from Dreams FC, where he impressed with his performances. And so that's how we'll be wrapping up the sports segment here. You can get some more details on our social media handles at 3SportsGH.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, the 16th season of Date Rush concluded with an exciting reunion after weeks of entertainment, drama and memorable moments on the show. Hosts Giovanni and Anita revisited the journeys of some participants from this season, sharing updates on their relationships and revealing what has become of their connections during the much-anticipated reunion on Saturday night.
For him. See, after that I left.
After weeks of entertaining viewers, the most watched dating reality show Date Rush took a different turn last Saturday with its highly anticipated reunion. It was a night where participants who found love on the show, as well as those who did not secure dates, came together to reflect on their experiences.
Right now, he and I are not in the space where we can establish a romantic relationship. It would be dangerous for he and I. So we are just enjoying the platonic relationship.
From the highs to the lows, the reunion was filled with honest conversations, emotional moments, and tense confrontations. The homecoming brought several unexpected revelations as unresolved issues resurfaced and participants opened up about their experiences. While some couples revealed they were still going strong and were willing to put in more effort to make their relationships work, others chose to part ways and remain friends.
What is friendship levy?
No, there's nothing like friendship
levy. So he should know what you need as a woman and provide.
He's cool. He's a cool person, but then he doesn't have the qualities I need in my man.
Overall, it was an evening filled with emotions, passion, reconciliation, and plenty of surprises, bringing another exciting season of Date Rush to a memorable close.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
At this point, it has
complicated.
We now bring you some interesting tidbits from the entertainment circles. Music, language, and culture took center stage at the City Conference Center of the University of Ghana as participants gathered for the 2026 Korea Week celebration. The annual event featured a Korean speech contest, a K-pop festival, and a cultural exchange program, attracting hundreds of participants eager to experience Korean traditions and contemporary entertainment. Organized by the Embassy of the Republic of Korea in Ghana, the festival aims to promote cultural understanding while strengthening ties between the two countries. The ambassador said the growing interest in Korean language, music, and culture demonstrates the strong people-to-people connections being built between Ghana and South Korea.
But year by year, we see more audiences, more contestants here. So more people know about the culture of Korea. That is a tipping point of strong friendship between the two countries. Those audiences and contestants will work as a bridge.
Well, that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you, Noella. On the international front, a Nigerian soldier has been arrested over allegations he supplied military uniforms to terrorists and criminal groups. That's according to the army. Military spokesperson Mohammed Goni said Private Mohammed Yusuf was caught on Saturday evening at a bus stop in northeastern city of Maiduguri.
Well, that's our package for you tonight, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby Annan.
And I am Portia Gabo. For more news updates, do log on to our website, 3news.com. Do join Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana tonight. Good evening.